Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing The High Republic Convergence, which was written by Zoraida Córdova and was released on November 22nd, 2022, which is the first adult novel for Phase 2 of The High Republic, which I thought it was meh. I'd say compared to the Phase 1 adult novels, I just wasn't into this one as much, mainly because it was a lot different, mainly just in the scale of the story. I just didn't feel like the stakes were as high as the Phase 1 adult novels, because this novel is mainly about this conflict between these twin planets named Irem and Arano, who've been stuck in a forever war. And so we see the Jedi and the Republic come in and try to bring peace between the two planets, which I liked the premise, but it just never got interesting, was kind of predictable, and I felt like it dragged on a little, definitely in the middle parts of the book. There just was several moments where I just felt like we're taking too long, but then I felt like the conflict later on in the novel near the end felt really rushed and just not enough time spent on it after, dragging along in the middle of the novel. So on the story side of things, I just wasn't that into this novel. Just thought it was badly paced with either long drawn out moments, which kind of got boring, or just super rushed moments, what just never felt satisfying. And I also felt like it didn't really add much to the overarching story for Phase 2, at least as of right now. Obviously there could be a lot of stuff from this novel that ends up coming back later on, but that's really my biggest issue with the novel, and obviously that is quite a big one. I just wasn't into the story and pacing and whatnot. But even though I wasn't into the story of the novel, I will say I still really like the characters. The main characters are a Jedi Knight named Gela Natai, which throughout the novel we see her trying to, find her place in the Force and also just the galaxy. And so I just really enjoyed her struggles throughout the novel there. And I'm excited to see where her character will go next. But then there's Axel Greylark, who's the son of the one Supreme Chancellor, Keon Greylark, which Axel's probably my favorite character from the novel, which he's not the most likable character. He's a very selfish, egotistical and whatnot, but I thought he was a lot of fun to read and whatnot, and so therefore I ended up enjoying his character a lot. One thing I liked about him was we see that he doesn't like the Jedi, and so I liked how that plays into his relationship with Gela and whatnot, and how he ends up kind of becoming friends with Gela, so I enjoyed that. But I also liked how, we see him at some points become a better person, but then just kind of the next moment, he's back to being an asshole. So I just really liked his character there. There was a development later on in the novel, which at first I will say I wasn't as into, but it made sense, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. Like I did mention earlier, I do think the end of the novel was a little rushed, and this was definitely one of the parts I do think was a little rushed, but I'm still interested in to see where we'll go next. But the final two main characters are the heirs to the thrones of Irem and Arano, which are Phan-tu, the Prince of Irem, and Ziri Albaran, the Princess of Arano, which are very connected characters, as they both want the same thing, for the worlds to have peace and to be united and whatnot. And so I liked seeing them both try to bring that peace to their worlds, but also their families. But on top of them, there's obviously several other more supporting characters. Obviously, like I mentioned, those royal families of the two planets. Obviously, a bunch of military people from the planets also. And a couple other Jedi characters. But we never really spent that much time with them, and so I never really got attached to any of those characters. But two characters I say I liked, which I wish we got more of, was the two Supreme Chancellors of the Republic. I already mentioned Keon Greylark, but there's also Orlan Mallow, who's a Quarren, which Mallow plays a bigger role in the novel, as he's present during these peace summits for the twin planets and whatnot. But what I liked the most was the dynamic between the two chancellors, as there's a lot of tension between the two, as it doesn't really seem like they see eye to eye and are on the same page. But Keon Greylark just isn't in the novel that much. And when she is, she's usually with Axel. And so it just doesn't really dive too much into the tension between the Chancellors. So I do wish there was more to that and played a bigger part in it. But hopefully that shows back up more in the upcoming, well, they're already out, but the other Phase 2 stories. So yeah, but that's really all I have to say. I just ended up not being that big of a fan of this novel. It was definitely my least favorite adult novel. It may be my least favorite novel, just in general, for the High Republic so far. But my enjoyment of the characters did save the novel a little bit. But just wish the story and whatnot was just more interesting and better paced and whatnot. So yeah, but my grade, I'm going to give it a C+. But that'll be it for this review. My next High Republic review, I think, will be the first issue of the Phase 2 Adventures comic series, so you check that out then. But in the meantime, check out my other High Republic reviews and everything else I do. But I've been Star Wars Review, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.